Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to Sunday Show and Tell. And I hope everybody has had a good weekend. I hope everyone has had a safe weekend. Today, for the show, we are pretty much going to be looking completely at Valaverse. We are going to be looking at the reveals for Series 6, for Series 6 for Action Force, for what's coming in 2026, and we're going to be taking a look at some new things that will be showing up even by the end of this year. But before we get into that, we are going to be talking about our crowdfunders because, of course, that is how we always start the show. First thing we're going to talk about real fast is the Kickstarter Patriot Force. Unfortunately, it did not make its mark. Day of recording, time of recording, today was the end of the campaign. It didn't hit its mark, so it will not go forward. It will not be funded. Well, it will not be funded. I shouldn't say it will not go forward. The campaign manager put out a message to everybody that backed it saying that they're going to be looking at other options and there's going to be some backer exclusives for what's coming up next. So I'm very curious to see what they're going to be doing down the line. I'll keep you up to date on that. The other crowdfunder that we're going to be taking a look at real fast is, of course, our Snowcat, the HasLab that is up on Hasbro Pulse right now. G.I.Joe Classified, Snowcat needs 8,000 backers. Currently, we are sitting at 6,429. Now, this is funding slower than most other G.I. Joe crowdfunding. However, at 6,429 with like a little over 40 days left to go at this point, I do not doubt that this is going to get funded, that this is going to hit the 8,000 backer mark. I also don't think it's too early or too late, whatever you want to say that I feel like it will hit all of the tiers. I feel like HasLabs in general, the big push to have them funded in like the first couple of days has kind of died down a little bit. That what was the last HasLab? Was it the Cantina that was really dragging up until like the last couple of weeks, and then it kind of took off after that? I just feel like that since it's not like a Kickstarter and we already know what the tiers are going to be, and with, you know, prices going up, some people are thinking about it, some people aren't jumping in on it right away. Also, like I said when we talked about the reveal, I completely get that the Snowcat here isn't like an automatic must-have. It's not everybody's like favorite vehicle, but I still feel like it's going to get funded. So we have plenty of time. I wouldn't let the slow rollout worry us at all because, like I said, the last one, it kind of, not the last G.I. Joe HasLab, the last HasLab in general, it kind of had a slow start to begin with as well. But that's where we're at. 6,429, time of recording of 8,000 backers, over halfway there. I don't doubt that we're going to get this funded. So that is all we have to talk about for our crowdfunders. Now, jumping into the Valaverse DFW panel reveal, a few things to talk about before we get to what was actually revealed. This episode is being recorded before Saturday at 8 p.m. And I bring that up because on the 3POA YouTube channel, they are doing a reveal recap live stream of everything that was discussed for Valaverse at the DFW panel reveal. So there may be some new information. There will probably be better images than what I have to show. So I'll leave a link to that in the description below, as well as a link to the reveal live stream from DFW when that went up. So there will be links to both of them in the description. Also, the photos I have to work with were mostly pulled from the YouTube video itself, so they're not the greatest quality. Also, the lighting wasn't really great this year. That some of the colors, it's very hard to see like the colors on some of them. Also, the camera was at an angle. It wasn't head on like it was last year. So to pull images from it, it's not the best quality, but it's what I have to work with. Some images I was able to pull from the Valaverse Instagram account. So when I have access to those, I'll put those up as well. So yeah, let's get started on that. The first item, that's not even the first item, the first new line that Bobby revealed was called the Extras. And this is a line by Valaverse that is composed of basically street people, and it's coming in 2026, probably the beginning of 2026. It's called the Extras because this is in a reference to extras in movies. Background characters, nameless characters that basically just fill in a scene. They'll be good for like civilian characters, for like Dio characters, things like that. They're going to have different clothing types, different ethnicities. He said they're going to have tons of different options for customization, different heads. He also used this moment to unveil the new torso that is being used for the Valaverse figures. That it's basically what Marvel Legends is going to. That there's going to be an outer soft PVC shell, and the joint is actually going to be inside the figure. So you'll get more movement, and you can actually have that PVC shell like sort of drape over the waistline, so that figures like these can like be wearing like hoodies or t-shirts, and they'll drape down over the waist of the figure, but they'll still have a full range of articulation. Each figure is going to include one figure, one stand, one accessory, and multiple hands, and they're going to have a price point of $24.99 or less. So I'm guessing it's going to be at the $25 mark. The only critique I have of this is that for what these are, being extras like this, I would rather see more accessories thrown in with these and take out all of the different hand options. Quite honestly, with a figure like this, all you would really need would be trigger hands and maybe closed fists. Get rid of the other sets of hands that Valaverse usually packs in and give them more accessories. Like this figure right here has all these hands and then like a snub-nosed revolver. Get rid of the extra hands, give him the revolver, and then maybe also give him a crowbar or something like that, or a monkey wrench or a baseball bat with barbed wire around it. Something like that. Because of what these are, being extras, being background characters, I feel like this is an opportunity to give us more like background accessories as well. Things that won't necessarily come with like the Action Force weapons packs. Just like everyday stuff that people might use, like I said, as a weapon, a baseball bat for a club, a crowbar, things like that. And yeah, that's really it for the extras. They just said that there's going to be a lot of possibility for customization, which leads directly into something else that they talked about, was that moving forward, their figures are going to have swappable arms. They even showed this picture right here, that you'll be able to swap the arms out at the butterfly. So you'll be able to pop the arms off and interchange them between figures. This kind of threw me for a loop because I swear I've popped the arms off an Action Force figure before. Now, granted, I had to heat it up, put it in boiling water to take them out. This makes it sound like it's just an easy pop in, pop out. He said, Bobby that is, said that this will be capable with every Valaverse figure moving forward from the Fury Praetorian on. So the Fury Praetorian right here is what is, I believe, the DFW exclusive, and will go up for sale on the Valaverse website sometime later this month in July. So that will be the first figure with the interchangeable arms. None of the other ones will have it. But if you do something like this on that extras line, it gives you a chance to, like, if he's wearing a hoodie with sleeves, you can turn it into like a hoodie vest or something like that. So there's a lot of possibilities there. I get that. That's kind of cool. What else did he have coming in? Moving in to Action Force and Series 6, he had originally said, I think it was at the beginning of the year, either the beginning of 2025 or the end of 2024. No, it was like mid-2024 when he announced Series 5, I think, that Series 6 was basically going to be all villains. Well, he scrapped that idea, and it's now a mix of villains and hero characters because he took some of those villains and did something else with them, which we will be talking about in later in the episode. So, but Series 6 proper is a mix of villains and heroes. What else do we have? So the Fury Praetorian. Okay, one of the other things that he put up new for Series 6 is this new backpack set that you have an over-the-shoulder with the adjustable strap. You have the flexible radio backpack with the handset. And then you have like a fold-out comms with like a Wi-Fi antenna coming up off the back. These are all very cool accessory packs for your figures. This will work obviously for Action Force, but like it'll work for G.I. Joe, Marvel Legends, other things as well. I love the attention to detail that Action Force, that Valaverse puts into accessories like this. Now that over-the-shoulder slung backpack, it is going to be compatible with their minigun. I believe there's an image in here as well with the minigun belt feed sort of like jacked into the backpack. He called out specifically that that was inspired by Arnold in Terminator 2 when he was like in that scene where he was like hosing the cop cars and he just had that soft bag slung over his shoulder that was feeding the minigun. That's where that comes from. So there is also going to be new weapons packs. We called out 3 weapons packs. That there was weapons pack Lima right here, which is very shotgun heavy, and there's at least 2 in this that I am really excited about. First of all, that double barrel right there breaches. That sawed-off double barrel breaches, which is very cool. And that sawed-off double barrel would look really good with some dreadnoughts, I think. So that one's really cool. You can also see that there's a double blast effect right there that I think is made specifically for that double barrel shotgun, that like you can just plug in a double blast effect, which is awesome. The one I'm really excited for though is if you take a look in the corner there, it looks like there's a Spaz 12 shotgun. I have been wanting a decent Spaz 12 shotgun for the longest time. What we got with G.I. Joe Classified doesn't cut it because the stock keeps falling apart on me. I have 2 versions of that. One that came with Falcon, one that came with Wolf Spider. They both look cool, but function-wise, they both kind of suck. So I'm very excited about having like a Spaz 12 in this set because Valaverse really nails their weapons packs. I may end up getting 2 of weapons pack Lima right here just because of all of the options, all of the weapons that are in there. I also really like those twin Mac 10s with the suppressors. It looks like it has suppressors right there. That would be really cool. Those would be really cool to have. So that is Weapons Pack Lima. That is definitely on my wish list. The other one that we have is Weapons Pack Mike right here, which is basically existing weapons, some new ones, but existing weapons with new paint apps. This one doesn't excite me nearly as much as Lima does. I feel like I have a lot of these weapons already, so it's a cool pack. He is going to go through the entire alphabet with these weapons packs. So, Weapons Pack Mike, I'm sorry, that's what we're looking at. Weapons Pack Mike right here is a definite, like, must-have just for, you know, the alphabet line. But it doesn't really do much for me. Now, the final one that is coming out for 2026 is Weapons Pack November, and that is his rocket launcher. This thing is cool. Like, no shade on the Classified line. I like Bazooka's bazooka. I like being able to put those long blast effects so you can kind of get like the rocket flying out of it. I do think that is cool. But just the look of this is kind of awesome. I mean, just look at it. It comes with your rocket launcher, rockets, those really cool blast effects, both front and back, and then like that munitions case that they all come in, that armored crate that everything comes in. I think that is very cool. Weapons Pack November also will not come in a box because there's just too much. It's too big. That will come in a blister pack, as you can see right here. So in-box collectors that like to stack those boxes up, this might throw off your display a little bit. Now, on to the figures. For Series 6, something that we have coming is that there are 3 new types of basic troopers. Now, before I show these, remember what I said at the beginning. The lighting is off a little bit. It's hard to tell the colors, and he didn't say what colors they were, so some of these I'm just guessing on the colors. The Raider Battalion right here, it looks like it's an olive green paint deco, comes with the Spaz 12 shotgun, very cool. Then we have the Special Warfare, gray and black, Night Ops colors. The weapon he comes with is either an HK, SP5K, or a 433. Couldn't really tell from the image. It's not very clear, but it also looks like it has a flashlight mounted underneath too, which is very cool. And then we have Delta Core, which once again I think is green, might be tan, but I think it's green with some gray mixed in there as well. I'm not really sure what that weapon is, but these are the basic troopers, troop builders that are going to be coming out with Series 6. You may notice that there's no armor bits, there's no vests, nothing like that. That's when he mentioned that there's not going to be like vest sets. There's not going to be armor sets, belts, nothing like that for Series 6. What he's going to release for Series 6 is a vest tin. Like, you remember a couple of years ago when he brought out that tin, I think it was the Crimson Shadows, like weapons locker or something like that, and it was just a tin filled with weapons. He's going to be doing the same thing, but with vests and gear and things like that. And he said it's going to be basically everything that will take care of these 3 troopers, plus the Maritime trooper that is currently in Series 5, since he never got any outer gear. So there will be gear for the Maritime trooper. It also sounds like there's going to be not only like the new stuff, but maybe some older stuff like from Series 5, maybe from Series 4. I don't think he's going to go all the way back to Series 1, but it sounds like there is going to be some older gear with new colors thrown in with that as well, which that is very cool. I could really see like hardcore Action Force collectors like being totally down with this, because like having different colors, having different options really lets you customize those troop builders, really lets you build them up. I think that's pretty cool. So now we also get into some exclusives, and there are 2 exclusives that he talked about. Don't forget Fury Praetorian right here as an exclusive will be going up for sale later this month. But also there is ToyCon New Jersey, and I forgot to write down the dates of when ToyCon is, but I think that's September. I'm pretty sure ToyCon is in September, and the exclusive for that is going to be the Infantry Commando 2.0. Now, if you remember, the original Infantry Commando was a Dorkside Toys exclusive. Dorkside kind of went bankrupt shortly after this, shortly after their Infantry Commando exclusive was revealed. I was fortunate enough that I got mine from Dorkside Toys. I had ordered 2 of the original Infantry Commando from Dorkside, and I got them before they completely shut down and sent all of their stock back to Valaverse. So this is the Infantry Commando 2.0. So it's a part reissue and a part upgrade to the original Infantry Commando. It has new heads, new multi-camo, new vest, newly tooled parts. Looks like it comes with all new equipment as well, tons of options. And the new helmets for Series 6, this is a moment he took to point out the new helmets, have an additional hole on them. So if you look at this picture right here, you can see that there are a bunch of different head options for the new helmet. There's going to be a flashlight accessory too. I believe that's what you can see it in some of these images. So there's going to be a lot of new options with Series 6. It seems like he's really leaning heavily into customization, which is good, because Action Force, it has its specialists, but Action Force really seems to be leaning into like troop builders, things like that. So if you're going to be doing that, having options, being able to customize things, that's good. I appreciate that. I like that. I'm sure a lot of customizers and a lot of Action Force collectors are going to appreciate that as well. Now, being a Toy-Con exclusive. Of course, that means there's going to be a variant. They're going to come in brown boxes so that you can't see inside, and the variant is going to be limited to 100 figures, and the variant is going to be this: a multi-cam Steel Brigade helmet. That is the extent of the variant. I hate variants. Luckily, this isn't one that... Luckily, variants in general are something that, like, I don't really, gotta have it. The only variant that I think I would have been happy to get was the translucent Wraith Praetorian figure, so that he could, like, go stealth. But all of the other ones, I'm fine doing without. The Steel Brigade multicam helmet isn't something that's really doing it for me that I would feel the need to get something like that. Basically, this figure in general isn't one that's high on my list. I have the original Infantry Commando. That's fine for what I got. I really don't troop build the good guys too much. So if you think this is cool, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that think this is cool, I hope you enjoy this. I really do. For me, this is a bit of a pass. But when we got to this one, he also announced that there is a new card back with the Valaverse figures. That the card back is going to be where you can slide the card out, take the figure out, then put it back in and slide the card back in for inbox collectors, so that you can still open it up, play around with it, and then put it back in and never actually break a seal. So that's very cool. I'm sure that's appreciated too. This is something very much of like what Mattel is doing for their Club Grayskull Origins figures, and what Four Horsemen are doing with their Mythic Legions and Cosmic Legions figures. As a matter of fact, he referenced the Four Horsemen directly when he was talking about this packaging option. So it seems like with the pop and play arms and the new packaging, he's taken some ideas from Four Horsemen and is applying them to the Valaverse figures, along with the torso of the new Marvel Legends from Hasbro, and applying it to Valaverse. And I don't have a problem with this, because all of this mixed in together is going to start to make for some really, really cool, really interesting figures. The other, where is it at? The other exclusive is for Legions Con, and Legions Con is coming up in November. And in November, of course, we have Dia de los Muertos. I just offended everybody who speaks Spanish, and I apologize for that. It is the Day of the Dead. I believe it is November 1st. So with the Legions Con exclusive, what we have is the Day of the Dead Sidewinder, and this guy looks awesome. Senshi's face paint, I wasn't a real big fan of. This stuff looks fantastic. Not only does this figure, the face paint, look fantastic, he's coming in Night Ops gear, which means he is going to join my beloved Night Force. I cannot wait to get my hands on this guy. Legions Con coming in November. You better believe I'm going to be paying attention to that one. I am definitely going to be jumping on it as soon as it is available on the Valaverse website. Now, there is a variant to this one. There's actually two variants to this one. So each variant has a limit of 100 each. And the variants are just different face paints. So all of them look great. I really don't mind here which one I get, because they all look fantastic. Truth be known, though, if I had my choice, I would go with the second variant head, the one with the more intricate designs on it. Not the one with like the spider web on the forehead, but the other one. That one, if I had my choice, I would go with that one. But all four of them, or I'm sorry, all three of them look fantastic. This figure is going to look really cool. Cannot wait to add him to my Night Force. He didn't say anything about the exclusives being available on the Valaverse website, but I don't think he has to, because that's pretty much his MO at this point, that they put the exclusives out there at the convention. Then they take their surplus, they sell it on the Valaverse website. Once that sells out, they usually get like a second run, put that up for sale as well, and then that's done. So I do think there's going to be plenty of opportunities to get these two exclusives if you can't make it to New Jersey Toy Con or Legion's Con. Like I said, Day of the Dead, Sidewinder, definitely one I'm going to be keeping a lookout for. After this, he talked about two figures for Series 6 that is going to be coming out either end of the year or early 2026, two named figures. The first one is Lieutenant Hune right here. Now, he had teased her years ago, and then she ended up being put on the back burner. She will be part of the second half of Series 6. Like I said, that means the end of this year or early 2026. And she's going to be a member of the Garrison. I'll be the first to admit, I'm not entirely sure what all of the factions are for Action Force. Is the Garrison one of the bad guys? I honestly don't know. There are enough factions for Action Force that I don't really keep that close track to them. I'm not real deep into Action Force lore. I know there's like Action Force, the Garrison, the Swarm, the Crimson Shadow, and then there's going to be one more that we're going to talk about real soon. But Lieutenant Hune is going to be available. She comes with everything you see here. Basically your standard loadout for Action Force. And then the other named figure that took us to is Jester right here. And Jester is a member of Pandora's Devil's Grin gang. He's the knife guy. He wears a World War II tanker helmet because why not? And he has a bandolier of daggers on him. The bandolier looks really cool. If you look at these images, the detail that they're pushing through for that leather work, for that leather bandolier, and the daggers that fit into it, including like that crescent blade that goes on his back. The detail is awesome on this figure. However, he doesn't really do anything for me, which I know is bizarre considering like he's a biker that has a, like, I like my dreadnoughts, I like ninjas. This is a biker that's the knife guy, and he comes with a pistol grip shotgun. But for some reason, he's just not doing it for me. I feel like he's a little too try-hard, a little too 90s edgelord. I don't know. There's just something about him that when I saw, I was like, yeah, that's cool. But at the same time, I also kind of rolled my eyes about him as well. Now, there is going to be another version of this, but it's not necessarily a variant. It is the bloody version of Jester that he said this is more than likely going to be a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. So it's not like a 1 in 100 variant. It's just going to be an exclusive. So if you want the bloody version of him, you can just buy that from Big Bad. And as weird as it sounds, even though I'm usually not into bloody figures, this one, if I was to get this figure, I might go with the bloody variant just because there's blood on the daggers, there's blood on the bandolier. Somebody who's the knife guy would be getting in close and he would have that blood on him. But at the same time, like I said, he's not really doing anything for me. Honestly, when I saw this guy, and this is just a personal thing, this is nothing against the figure. I'm sure there are plenty of people that are going to enjoy this, that are going to like this guy. But for me, when I looked at this guy, I had the same feeling inside as when I watched the trailer for the Crow remake. It just felt a little too try-hard. So that's all I'm saying about that. Now, to completely shift my enthusiasm, the next thing we're going to be talking about, I am 100% excited about. I love pirates. I have even written and produced 2 stage plays based on the historical fiction of real-life pirates during the golden age of piracy. I have studied pirates. I love pirates. I'm pretty sure I am in love with a female pirate that has been dead for 200 years. So there's that. So when Bobby rolled out the black, I was very excited about this. This is basically pirates in the world of Action Force. It sounds like they're kind of like Navy guys gone rogue. Navy guys that in this world of Action Force have just turned their fleet, their ships, whatever, into pirate ships. They're like these anti-hero mercenary pirates that sail the seas of the Action Force world. Now, there was a demo video that explained their origins, what they are. The volume, the sound wasn't very good on it, so like I kind of skipped over it, to be completely honest. I just wanted to get to what it actually was. But I'm very excited about this, and like this is the reason why Series 6 is not all villains. These guys were originally meant to be villains, and instead he decided to turn them all into their own faction, neither villain nor hero. Like I said, anti-hero mercenaries. The only issue I have with this is that, Bobby, my man, you keep bringing out new factions for Action Force without actually like finishing any of them, or even like going like deep into any of them. Like, how long has it been since we've had anything for the Swarm in this line? Having said that, I'm still very excited about these. So the first one we're going to be taking a look at is the Captain of the Black, and of course that is Blackbeard right here. And ho ho ho, he looks good, built on the new big body, basically the Atlas body, and he has all new parts, comes with a lot of gear. He might end up being a deluxe figure. Bobby didn't say that, but just looking at everything that he comes with, I won't be surprised if this isn't trotted out as a deluxe figure. Has an alternate head with a skull bandana. And there's a possibility that he's going to have soft goods, this soft goods cape right here. It's either going to be part of the standard, or it's going to be a variant, which I really hope it's not, or the soft goods version will be an exclusive, probably for Big Bad Toy Store. He's not entirely sure how he's going to package the soft goods cloak, but there is going to be more than likely a soft goods cloak thrown in with it. This is awesome. This is so cool. I cannot wait for this. I can't wait to see better pictures of this. When the black comes out, I'm probably going to buy just all of it. I love me some pirates. That takes us to the second figure in the line for the black, which is Vane, named after Charles Vane, an actual pirate captain from the Golden Age of Piracy. Just FYI. Vane, historically, was a real SOB. As a matter of fact, just a little side note, that Vane was such an SOB that his crew turned on him in true fashion, mutinied, elected a new captain, John Rackham, and kind of like put Vane in a Johnny boat and sent him off. He became marooned on an island, and when they found him, his hair was all grown in, his beard was all grown in. He was a little bit mad from having lived on that desert, on that island by himself for a number of months, I think it was, maybe even years. I can't remember right now. But he was also the inspiration for Friday. I forget what the name of the book is now. But if you remember, what was it, Swiss Family? No, it wasn't Swiss Family Robinson. Oh, this is going to bother me. Give me 1 second. Robinson Crusoe, that's what it was. When they found Vane, he was the inspiration for Friday in Robinson Crusoe, because Daniel Defoe was on that ship when they found him. Just a little side story there. So anyhow, Vane in this is going to look like this. He's going to have a bandolier. He has his 3 weapons. He has a scarf, but you also have a separate head sculpt that has the head wrap on it. Kind of reminds me of like Warpath Eclipse, or even just regular Eclipse. This figure is based off of Zach McGowan, who played Vane on Black Sails. In fact, Zach even voiced the demo video for the Black. Kind of got into a little bit of a contractual partnership where he voiced the demo, and now they're using his likeness for the action figure, which is kind of cool. Basing action figures on real people doesn't really... I'm fine with it one way or the other. Like, Sergeant Slaughter for Classified was cool. Tony as Desert Rat was very cool. That was the one that I was like, this is awesome. This deserves to happen, and I'm very happy for him. But Zach McGowan as Vane, I could take it or leave it, but it's cool. So just go with that. So we have Blackbeard and Vane as our two two named figures, and then the troop builders for this are the Corsairs. And this looks like your basic standard fare for Action Force troop builders. Comes with a machine gun, grenades, helmet in hands, and a piece that looks like, take a look right there. Like I said, these images aren't very clear, but a piece that looks like Senshi's face mask. Or maybe that's the tactical mask that's coming with the version 2 of the Infantry Commando. They just painted it a different one. I'm not really sure. Extra magazines and extra hands. Now the head options on this, they're doing something very interesting with the head options. That if you look at this, these are 4 different head options. And truthfully, when I looked at this, I was like, this is Call of Duty Modern Warfare right there. But you don't know which one you're going to get. So it's kind of variant, kind of luck of the draw. They did that so that each figure wouldn't look the same. There's no numbered limit, like none of these are limited to 100. You have an equal chance of getting any one of these 4. I don't hate this. I think this is actually kind of cool. I think this is actually kind of interesting. I like the idea that like you could get some that look the same, uniform. You could get some that look different. I think this is a cool way of doing that rather than like upping the price maybe and packing in all 4 head sculpts into one packaging. This is kind of cool. I don't have a problem with the way that they're doing this. Like I said, I'm very excited about the black. I have this bad feeling that they're going to come out with Series 6 2026. These figures are going to come out, and then like nothing will happen with it for a year because they'll be taking care of like the Crimson Shadows, the Swarm, and the other factions involved in Action Force. That's my only concern. Because at first he tried to sell this as it's going to be a new line. The black is going to be a new line. But then during the Q&A, when somebody said, who does the black fight? He said, well, the black fights everybody. It's part of the Action Force world. So he called it a new line, but it's really just a new faction for Action Force. And speaking of a new line, he also has a new licensing partnership with Ubisoft, which is something else I am very excited about because he is going to be making figures for Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell was my favorite stealth game. I loved playing it when it came out. I liked it better than Metal Gear. I know. Especially on the GameCube, because when I played it on the GameCube, you could plug your Game Boy into it, and that sort of became like your motion sensor while you were sneaking around. It was so awesome. The Splinter Cell games are awesome. So like to be able to get a figure of Sam Fisher, codename Panther, this is going to be fantastic. I can't wait. This is the one that I am like really excited about. Like the black is cool and I love the black and I'll be going all in on the black, but Sam Fisher, Splinter Cell, I am really excited about. Now he mentioned that there is like that new Splinter Cell game that's coming out. So they are more than likely going to be making a figure based off of the new game first. He did say that there was a possibility that they're going to be making more versions of Sam, other figures for the game, but like honestly, I don't really know like what other figures they would come out with for that game. I will take any version of Sam that we can get, but I would really love to get a version of him from like that old school original game. Like that 3-lens night vision goggle that glows makes absolutely no sense, but it looks so awesome. I really want them to do a good job on this one. I really want this to look cool. I really want to get this one. Before we go on, let me turn on the light because it is getting darker out there, and I noticed I am starting to get darker as well. Let me bring the light up a little bit more. And there we go. Okay, moving on. Vehicles. He talked about some vehicles. So the first thing that he brought up was the Shadow Vanguard, which is basically an all-black Vanguard, which is something that I think a lot of people have been asking for. And it's going to come as like the whole kit and caboodle, the whole pack. It's going to have the hull pack and everything. And it actually looks like the hull pack is going to be like silver painted. Almost looks vac metal, but I think it's just like silver painting. And it's going to have a little bit of rust on it just to make it look like a little bit of wear and tear. This is also going to be coming out end of the year or early 2026. So based off of the current Vanguard bundles, the all-in bundles right now are going for $159.99, $160, which truthfully is a really good price for everything that you're getting right here. Like the Vanguards and their bundles are still available on Valaverse's website, the Vanguards themselves and the full all-in bundles, regular and muddy versions. Oh, no word if there's going to be a muddy version of this. He just talked about the regular version. And like the price on the Vanguards is really good, but I still just can't bring myself to get one, and I don't know why. It just doesn't do anything for me. It looks too, I don't know, urban? I don't know. Like it doesn't strike me as like a real military vehicle. I don't know what it is. It looks cool. There's a lot of good space to it. It's kind of like a play set on wheels, and the price, whether you're going for just the Vanguard or the all-in bundle, the price is really good on them as well. I just haven't had it in me to pick one up yet, but they're available and the Shadow Vanguard will be coming. We also got an update on the Locust right here, and he said he's taking his time with the Locust. Going back to talking about factions, the Locust obviously is going to be an extension for the Swarm faction, so there's that right there. He said they're close to tooling, so it sounds like they've been doing a lot of engineering for this. Hopefully it will be a late 2026 release. They've added things like a cockpit harness, new missile launchers that are modular, that you can have the missiles either in the launchers or you can have them launching out. He was exploring putting lights to this, to having a light up feature, but it sounds like he's going to leave them out, which I don't have a problem with that, because taking the lights out of it does bring the price down. But he also said he's talking about looking into putting like trenching in the vehicle so that it will be easier for people to add a light kit to it if they would want to do that as an aftermarket thing. Once again, going back to what I said before, that it seems like he's really leaning into the customization options for Action Force and everything that comes with it. And what else? Oh, and there is going to be a stand, a flight stand for it. Now, it's going to be mobile, or not mobile, but it's going to be articulated. It's going to have ratchet joints so that you can put it into different flight poses. This is being made by Ace from Ramen Toys, and it's not going to be part of the actual set. It will be an add-on that you can buy separately. So with Ace making it, it's probably going to be like a $50 stand. That's all I'm saying about that. The last one, the last vehicle that he talked about, which is really cool, and I'm really, really upset that Hasbro hasn't come up with this yet, an attack raft. This is cool. This is very cool. This is much needed. Like, depending on the price of this, you could buy multiples of this, and it doesn't matter what color it's going to come in. Like right here, we just have like a grayscale shot of one. Doesn't matter what color it comes in. This is an easy repaint because it's just going to be solid colors. Whether it's going to be blue, whether it's going to be black, red, put tiger stripes on it, whatever you want to do. This is an easy buy. The attack raft is going to fit up to 4 figures. It has a translucent water base that looks like surf that is really cool. That is a really clever way of displaying this, especially being able to have the propeller motor come down into the water, which we'll take a look at in a minute. It has the grenade launcher up front, but he also said that that the mount is going to be set up that you can pull the grenade launcher off and you can fit the minigun on the front as well if you would want to. So that is a cool addition. The paddles will come off and the figures can use them like just the paddle into shore. The motor on back, like I said, it will lift up and come out of the surf, It will pivot as well, and it has a removable hood so that you can get to the engine on the inside. No release date on this, but he wants this to come out very soon. And also he's insisting that it will float, so you can take it in your pool and take pictures of it. With the black coming out, this is definitely something that they and the Corsairs would need. This is going to be very cool. Hopefully, I'm guessing that not having a figure with it, I'm going to guess $50 for this. We'll have to wait and see, but that's my guess for what the cost of this is going to be. After that, we went into 2026 and beyond. And some of the things that we talk about right here, I got the impression that a lot of this is stuff that is in the works, because a lot of this doesn't have release dates. A lot of this wasn't said to be what they're going to be doing for Series 6. I feel like a lot of what we're about to talk about is just stuff that he's eyeing for, like, coming down the pipeline. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the Eclipse, Gemini, and Killswitch Gym 3-pack. 3 figures, Eclipse, Gemini, and Killswitch in their gym gear. There's a weight bench, a punching bag, free weights. They have all new head sculpts. I mean, this could be cool. And I'm sure there's a lot of Action Force collectors that'll be like very hyped about having this. I would have rather just had the gym set without the figures. That's just me. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be excited about this. I'm guessing this is going to be about a $100 set, because it's going to be all 3 figures plus all of that kibble in there. So once again, no release date on this. All we have are like these digital renders. We'll have to wait and see what's coming down the line for that. But speaking of the female figures for Action Force, something else that he talked about was this. Mimicking the waistline of Jada Street Fighter figures, specifically Cammy, it was inspired by Cammy. He's going to bring in the waist, give him a little bit more of an hourglass waist, make him a little bit hippier. I guess Bobby wants his ladies thick in the Action Force series now. Que sera, if that's your thing, go for it. But me, I'm just like, they're action figures, guys. Calm down. But it looks like that is going to be the new design style, or at least that's what he's looking into for the new design style for the female figures. Personally, one of the things that I really appreciated about Action Force and how Bobby was designing the female figures was that, 1, they weren't shorter than the males, and 2, they didn't have proportions like this. I am not a prude. I am far from it. But like this, I don't know. I feel like this is a step back, to be completely honest. That's just my take on it. I really like what they were doing with their female figures so far. Like, something like this, that's a personal opinion. If you're down with that, if you're into that, cool. But for me, I personally think they should just stick to the way that they've been making them. Now, something else that could be very interesting, because there is a lot of this out there in the collecting world, especially on Big Bad Toy Store, but they all have a very high price point, a modular play set. This would be great for like displays, dioramas, that like first we start with this armory set that you have right here, that you have racks, drawers, lockers. You have right here, you have like a mannequin torso that you can mount vests and helmets on. The head of the mannequin is a skull that can pop off, and it'll have the same ball joint as a Action Force figure, so you can like pop the skull off the mannequin and put it on an Action Force figure just for funsies, just to see how that would work. I think that's kind of cool. This could be a lot of fun, and there could be a lot of possibilities with this. They talked already about doing things like computer consoles, bunks, jail cells, garage modules for like the Vanguard, things like that. So there's a lot of possibility with a modular playset right here. He also mentioned that the square is big enough to fit into those glass display cases that a lot of collectors have. I forget what the name of them is, but he said if you put them in there, the square base would be the same as the interior of that collector case. And then you take the shelves out, because what he wants to be able to do is have it so modular that it'll be able to stack on top of each other, and you could like conceivably fill that display case up with these stacked modular play sets, and have like just all of these like level after level of dioramas. If that's true, if it plays out that way, that would be really, really cool. He's working with somebody who goes by Duarte on Instagram. I looked him up. There's some really cool stuff. I'd never heard much about him, so if you know about him, this may excite you more than it did me. But yeah, he does some cool stuff. This could be really interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Once again, this is something that's down the pipeline. Didn't really touch on too much for like release dates or anything like that. And going along with that same theme, no release date, looking down the line, checking this out. Action Force 3 3/4 O-ring figures. He said he has had some people asking about that, so that's something he's looking into. They had 4 mock-up figures at the convention: a Pandora, a Bone Collector version 2, a Praetorian, and a Steel Brigade. They all look kind of cool, I have to admit. Not an O-ring collector, but they all look kind of cool. It would be interesting to see if he would get into this. Now, the only thing, he wants to make them blind bag, and I don't get why. Well, I do get why, but I don't get why. Like, he was very excited about the blind bag prospect. He obviously likes his variants. He obviously likes blind box things because of the variants that he puts out there. 1 in 100, give it a shot. But to put an entire line like this, 3 3/4, into a blind bag, or rather a blind hand grenade, the packaging, I have to admit, is very cool. That it's this hand grenade that you have to pull the pull the pin, release the trigger, and then the grenade opens up and you see what you get inside. That's a very cool way of packaging them. But I feel like for a line that hasn't existed yet, one that a lot of people have been requesting, a 3 3/4 line, you just want to know what you're buying, especially if you're an inbox collector. You just want to have them on the card back to put them on the shelf. I don't know if this is going to go over as well as he thinks it's going to. More power to him if this succeeds, and I hope it does. I really hope, like, with these indie companies, I hope everything they try succeeds, because I want them as a company to succeed. But I don't think an entire line that's based on blind bags like this, if it was just like these 4 figures and then like the possibility of a Bone Collector version 1 variant, or the possibility of a Wraith Praetorian, a repaint of the Praetorian, and then like a bloody Pandora, like rare figures, chase figures. If it was just these 4 plus like maybe 3 chase figures, so 7 altogether, that would be one thing. But if you're going to design an entire line around blind bags, I don't know how well that's going to go over. Let me know what you think. I am genuinely curious. This is coming from someone that also like really hates blind boxes and blind bags. But I honestly think this might be a mistake of how to roll out the 3 3/4 line. If you comment on nothing else after watching this, let me know about that down below. I'm very curious to see what people think about that. And then the final thing that he talked about was another thing that he teased weeks ago on Instagram. Something that a lot of people are very excited about, and I am cautiously optimistic about, and that is the Action Force 1944 line. This is Valaverse doing World War II figures. And on one hand, I'm very excited about this, and on the other hand, I'm cautiously excited about this. Apparently the backstory to Action Force, and I didn't know this, at least the Valaverse version of Action Force, is that Condor's grandfather was in World War II and started the first special ops team, and he called that Action Force. That is what this line is based on. Now, he did say that it's going to be like a deep dive into like World War II figures. They're really paying close attention to the gear, the equipment, the weapons. It's going to include things like paratroopers. You're going to have the Axis powers. You're going to have the Allied powers. And he hasn't given a solid date, but he did say it's coming sooner than we think. But my question is this going to be classic looking World War II? Or is this going to be like Action Force-ified World War II? Because he said something during this live stream that really caught my attention and made me start to wonder. And I transcribed it here. Let me read to you right now what he said. I know everyone wants the Band of Brothers, the Saving Private Ryan, that sort of thing. With a few part swaps, you could probably do that. But these will be core characters. You'll have, Condor's great-grandfather. Maybe he went by the call sign Condor as well. So there will be a, World War II Condor. But again, this Action Force team is going to be made up of, UK, Russia, US soldiers, which will be really fun to have all those different uniforms to do. So to me, it doesn't sound like these are going to be like hardcore World War II figures, because he even says, want the Band of Brothers, want Saving Private Ryan. With a few part swaps, you could probably do that. What I'm hoping is going to happen is you will have Condor, the World War II version of Condor. You'll have other specialists, other named figures as well. But knowing how Action Force is with troop builders, I'm hoping when we get into the troop builders, that is when we're going to have like the regular standard looking hardcore World War II figures. That's what I'm hoping for. He does make it sound like this is going to be like an alternate version of World War II, an Action Force version of World War II, bringing up things like the Howling Commandos or like Sergeant Rock and G.I. Robot and things like that. We'll have to wait and see. At best, it's going to be a mix of the two, and you'll be able to pick and choose which ones you want. If you want an Action Force version of World War II figures, or if you just want like standard hardcore, like pure World War II figures. At worst, it's basically just going to be an Action Force version of World War II. We will have to wait and see on that. Thank you for making it to the end. I know this one was long. There was also a Q&A at the end of the live stream. I'm not going to go over that entirely because honestly, a lot of the questions I couldn't hear, and a lot of the answers were very vague. Things like, we're looking into it, that's something to consider, we'll be talking about that down the line, things like that. But there were a couple of questions I want to talk about. First of all was the Swarm. The question of will there be Swarm characters came up, and he did say they will be working on it. The Locust vehicle is obviously a Swarm vehicle, but he even commented on having so many factions and having to give them all some love. Or you could hold off on creating a new faction every month, just an idea. There was also a question asked about expanding the comic. He said he was looking for a publisher. I didn't realize that he was looking to expand the comic. I thought the comic was done. I thought that was just a way to get people introduced into the world of Action Force, give them an idea of the background of things that are happening. I have one issue of it. And yeah, I didn't think it was going to go any further than that. But apparently he is looking for a publisher to have the comic come out on a regular basis. Someone also asked about product being in brick and mortar stores. He said it's not a priority. People enjoy ordering online, and Target and Walmart rarely have things in stock. Can't argue that. Plus, what they're doing is working, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I can completely agree with that as well. If he's doing well, just selling through Big Bad and the Valaverse website, I say stick with that. Don't try, there's no need to bring Target and Walmart into the mix. Of course, throughout this live stream, he did mention some things about the movie. It was a lot of blah, blah, a lot of, we're talking to very important people, you should see the people we're talking to, things like that. No particulars, nothing definite. Honestly, the more I hear him talk about the movie, the more I keep hearing Todd McFarlane in my head talking about the Spawn movie. So this is one of those things that while Bobby's talking about it, I'll believe it when I actually see some things happening. And of course, throughout this live stream, he had to throw some shade at Hasbro, even though he's using their torso ideas. Thank you for hanging around until the end. While you're here, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. The subscriber count has been climbing quickly lately, and it would be really cool if we could hit 2,000 by the end of the year. If you'd like to support the show, please consider joining the Steel Corps by becoming a channel member or a subscriber through my Ko-fi page. Links in the description below. Members get perks like access to a members-only Discord, access to members-only monthly videos, and eventually members-only live streams. All of this for $1 a month. As always, play well, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.